Hey, what's going on Facebook and YouTube? Justin Temple here with a different video. We're going to do a Kung Fu video and talk about the three different Bong Saos. So a lot of people, they think they know Wing Chun or they think they understand Kung Fu, and they might even go to class or something like that, but they don't actually learn from someone that knows real Kung Fu. And I'm going to show you something that no one has ever explained in your Wing Chun class. I'm going to explain to you a few things that no one will ever explain to you about Kung Fu. So if you are into Kung Fu, like this video, subscribe, comment, and I'm going to show you one of the biggest secrets that you're never going to learn from any other Kung Fu master. Okay, so we're going to talk about the three Bong Saos. Not one, there's three. There's three Bong Saos, okay? And so let me show you the first one. So the first one is not what you think of, right? What people normally think of Bong Sao, they think of this, like your arms just like turning over, right? And they keep it at this horizontal level, and this is what people think Bong Sao is. That's not what Bong Sao is. Bong Sao is not like Tan Sao flipping over. That's not what it is. And also, other kung fu masters do not teach you the extent of how to keep Bong Sao safe so you don't get destroyed. So a lot of kung fu masters or a lot of kung fu students will go try to use kung fu and they'll get knocked out. So the way that you use Bong Sao in the first one is it's called Yin Bong Sao. Yin, like yin and yang, Yin, Yin Bong Sao. Now, in order to understand Kung Fu in the real terms, you need to understand the battlefield. The battlefield is your body and your ether of space that you must protect. So, the first thing about understanding Yin Bong Sao or any of the forms or any of the moves is that you must understand the battlefield. The battlefield is heaven, human, earth. Heaven, human, earth. Yang, yin, yang, yin, yang. Elbow, wrist on certain points. This is the 10 bright point battlefield. Okay, this is what makes this kung fu different than animal styles. And so why is this kung fu way better than your kung fu? Because your kung fu is based off of some animals that you're not, right? Snake, right? Everyone's like, Wing Chun is like snakes and cranes combined. No, it's fucking not. That's not what real Wing Chun and Kung Fu is. Yes, there's Kung Fu styles like that, but real Kung Fu is based off of the human body. Animal styles are based off of animal uh, uh, practice, like what they do. So this Kung Fu that I know that I'm not going to tell you the name of, it's based off of the human body and the human structure points, and the human is the golden ratio. The human was created by the divine, and understanding the divine structures of the human body, the golden ratio that you are created, is going to understand and unlock the future of you being able to protect yourself using Kung Fu. This is what other Kung Fu masters don't understand. So the 10 bright point battlefield is one, heaven, two, earth, I'm sorry, human, and then three, earth. So you're basically your third eye, your solar plex, and your navel. This is the top down one, two, three. Okay. So now this identifies the horizontal lines that we protect ourselves in. Okay. So we can defend ourselves in this space right here, or we can defend ourselves in this space right here. Now we can also defend ourselves in the two lower gates down below with our legs. So there's 6 gates total. So understanding this is going to help you understand what Bong Sao is. So Bong Sao, other people are like, well, it's right, it's like this, right? No, it's not. Bong Sao starts here. Bong Sao starts at the navel. Bong Sao starts at the bottom, at the lowest extent that you can reach structurally, not like this. right? But structurally, right? So the bong sao is not up here, it starts down here. And then you turn your wrist to here, and now you have your bong sao. And then you can lift from here, okay, not here. You can lift from here, okay, and you can raise your bong sao from the low gate up to the high gate. So bong sao is not this. Bong sao is this. That's what bong sao is, at least the yin bong sao. So yin bong sao starts at the bottom, and you can actually clear. Now, this is an explanation. You don't go like this with bong sao. You can, and you actually can do it very well. But bong sao can also sweep across like this. Okay, so you can protect the lower gate, the lower sections, right, from human to earth with bong sao, right? You can use the bong sao structure in the lower gates. You don't always just have to use bong sao in the higher gates. See that? So see how it covers my head to my torso right here, right? But you can also use bong sao in the lower gates as well. Okay. So no one really understands the extent of what you can even use the normal bong sao for, and they don't even teach you the real structures of it. Okay. So again, bong sao is basically um, you start down here, you start at the navel, okay, we're locked out, okay, we're locked out, and you turn your wrist, okay, now you got your bong sao. Now from here, you can raise it. And bong sao actually covers a massive amount of space. It actually covers a massive amount of space. So bong sao is actually an advancing move, not a transition. It can actually be used as a way to cover yourself from a lot of different kinds of attacks, not just a transitional move. That's bullshit. Now it can be transition, right? So you can, get your guard up, but let's say like you get your guard up and someone's pushing on you this way, well then you can go ahead and redirect it like that. But the bong sao is never taught right. Okay. Now that's the yin bong sao. Okay. Oh, why is it called yin bong sao? So a lot of people say like, oh, keep your bong sao on center, right? On center. You don't want to keep your bong sao on center. Okay. So the reason you don't want to keep bong sao on center is because it it there's no opening for you to get through. And if your opponent just moves it right over here, now the structure is compromised. So when you use bong sao, you start center, your wrist is on center, you raise and you're still on center. And as you go up right here, your wrist goes to the nipple line, the yin line. So remember, I told you there's heaven, human, earth, yang, yin, yang, yin, yang. So the yin lines are the nipple lines. Okay. So there's lines that go like this, sideways, horizontal, and there's lines that go like this. Okay. There's the midline, which is what normal kung fu teaches, right? All of the watered down kung fu. But there's also four other lines. There's the shoulder line. Actually, there's six. There's the negative lines, the shoulder lines, and the nipple lines. These are all spaces in which you operate, and this is why other kung fu doesn't work because they don't teach you, they only teach you how to operate on the center, right? That's it. Like everything's on the center, but everything can't exist on the center all the time. Okay. And so you can dominate center, but yin bong sao it goes up and then it goes out to the yin line right there. Okay. Now another thing is um you can use this as an attack. Okay. So you can clear and attack like that, or you can clear and use spear fingers like that. So the bong sao actually needs to have a very very high elbow, and your wrist needs to be out in front of you. Okay, and so a lot of people don't teach this correctly. Okay, now that's the yin bong sao. Okay, that's yin. Okay? It's not a transitional movement. It's actually an advancing movement that can destroy your opponent's entire structure. Okay? So now I don't have a lot of space right here, but Bong Sao is more like that, not like this. Okay? Bong Sao is actually an advancing movement that clears from the bottom to the top and pretty much everything. It clears pretty much all the space. Okay? So it's a clearing movement. It clears. It doesn't it's not a transition. It clears space. It clears space. And then also we go up and down. Okay, so we go up and then we go down. So it creates the zigzag, the push and pull. Okay, not just but hoo hoo, right? The kung fu aspect, which is called Loi Lao Hui Sung is what it's called. Okay, so now there's also number two, which is called the Hawk Bong. Okay, the Hawk Bong. So this is something that you guys have never seen. Okay, and this is a special kind of bong sao. This bong sao is used um, for elbow down punches. This is a bong sao used against other kung fu. Yin Bong Sao is great for regular fighting, um, defending against like MMA and boxing and things like that. Hawk Bong, okay, again, we're talking about the Bong Saos I'm talking about, not this. This is not going to help you with shit, okay? This is going to help you. See, we're clearing space, coming back down, we're setting, and we're ready for another attack. So it's totally different. So this is going to help you defend against punches that are normal punches. The Hawk Bong Sao is going to help you against other kung fu practitioners and fighters. So the Hawk Bong Sao is going to be where you go up like this, and you put your wrist on the heaven, right? Remember heaven, human, earth. So we have a reference point. So we put our wrist on the heaven, and then we hewn Sal down and we go right along the center and we go right through here. Okay, so we're gonna go. It's like you're gonna curl down and go out like this. So ready? We're gonna go like this. Okay, so that is Hawk Bong Sao. Okay, ready? That is Hawk Bong Sao. Okay, and you want your wrist and your elbow and your shoulder to be on the same plane, all flat. Okay, so here, hewn Sao, and like that. Okay, I'm looking at the camera. Here, focus on me. Okay, don't look at the camera, Justin. All right, there. So that's Hawk Bong Sao. How is this useful? The way that this is useful is because it deflects an elbow down style punch. You're gonna deflect the punch like this. You're gonna meet it like this, and then you can go like this to bounce it off with the angle. Okay, it's against an elbow down punch. Against a straight punch, hook punch, you can use things like this. Okay, but Hawk Bong Sao is for someone punching on your midline, on the center line. So a punch comes in with elbow down like this. You're going to meet it like this, and then you're going to go like that. Okay, and then the punch ends up going like this, away from you. Okay, so it goes like that. So that's what Hawk Bong Sao is. Now, there's also a variation of Hawk Bong Sao, which is the third one, which is side Hawk Bong. Okay. So the side Hawk Bong Sao is still against someone. It's a variation of the Hawk Bong Sao. So if you're fighting someone that knows kung fu and does an elbow down punch like this and doesn't lock out and stuff, they're doing punches like this, right? Hawk Bong Sao um, is how to meet it and deflect it in own center. If you meet the opponent's attack and they break your center, right? Let's say I put my defense up, and then they like they crash into me, right? It's too much energy, right? So when you put up your defense and they crash into your defense, right, on center, the side hawk bong sao is the way to deflect that overwhelming force. And the way you do it is it's the same thing. So you go here, this is hawk bong sao, and then this is side hawk bong sao. So you go here and you just imagine that someone crashes into your structure and you go from shoulder back to center like that. So those are the three bong sows. There's yin bong sao, hawk bong sao, and side hawk bong sao. Okay. This one is for normal punches that you would expect. This one is for elbow down kung fu style punches. This is for elbow down kung fu style punches that overwhelm you and crash into your structure, and your structure's broken a little bit, right? Let's say like when you defend yourself, you want your wrist right here, right? Well, let's say you try to get your wrist up and you're too late, and it ends up being right here, right? Too close. That's what I'm talking about. So when your structure is crashed into, you use hawk bong sao to go from the shoulder right here. You go from shoulder and then you pull your elbow like this. So this is hawk bong sao. Okay, that is hawk bong, or I'm sorry, side hawk bong sao. Okay, so that's what that is. So yin bong sao starts here, turn your wrist, and then you can bring this all the way up, okay? And you can put your elbow all the way up here. Actually, you need to. So bong sao cannot be like this. It has to be like this. It has to be a very sharp angle down. And then also, this is yin bong sao. So yin bong sao, the real bong sao that everyone thinks they know, they try to keep it on center. You're not supposed to keep bong sao on center. It's not the real bong sao. Real bong sao starts on center. Okay, this is like normal. This is low. Here's where bong sao starts is low, and then you turn, and then you can go up, and this is the real bong sao. Now, when you're up here, you go out to the yin line. This is center. This is yin line. Center, yin line. Okay. When you use bong sao and you go like this and you don't go out to yin line, it doesn't create a disruption in your opponent's structure. So there's real kung fu is not only center line theory. Okay, it's not only center line, only die on the center line, and blah blah blah. Like, what if you can't get that? What if you're not good enough at the first part and you have to fix it, right? So it's not always stay on center line. Okay, that's the biggest mistake. That's why people just go like this and they get knocked out, right? You don't want to stay on center line. You want to use center line, you want to own center line, but you don't want to always just go straight forward. Like for example, defending a hook punch is Busao, like this. Okay, so Busao, we don't stay on center line. We actually go on a 45-degree angle. Okay, we stay on this center line like this, but we actually go to a 45-degree angle. Okay, so that is Busao. Here's Busao without turning. Okay, so Busao is how you defend a hook punch and stuff like that. But I was just going to talk about the three bong sows and why a lot of people don't understand kung fu and they think they're learning kung fu, but they're not really learning kung fu. Okay, so bong sao can also be stepped in with like this if you want to, um, but it's not a transitional movement. Okay, a lot of people say it's a transitional movement. It's not. Okay, it can be used. Like for example, when you put up your guard, okay, so check this out. So like, when I put up my guard, depending on where the punch is how I react. So if the punch comes on center like this, I'm either going to own center or I get destroyed on my center and I have to use Hawk Bong Sao. Okay. So that's the Kung Fu versus Kung Fu. Um, with the Hawk Bong Sao. The Yin Bong Sao is able to be used in against a lot of different things. Because, for example, you can use Bong Sao low. No one teaches how to use Bong Sao low. They think it's always up here. Okay, Bong Sao is actually starting low and it can be moved up here. Okay, that's what's important to know. Here, here. Okay, that's Bong Sao. Okay, and then you move it to the yin line. Okay, here, here. You move it to the yin line. So you start center and then you move it to the yin line like a not you don't go like a 90-degree angle. You don't go up and then sideways. You go like a mountain, like up like a peak, and then you go like that. So you go here and then like that, like that. Okay, not like here and then here. So you go here, here. Okay. So it takes it offline. So and then you don't go too far, you just go right to the yin line. Okay. So it's not like you're going really far. Like you're not going out here with bong style. You're just going right here. Okay. Right there. And then also it creates an opening for you to strike. You can strike down into their neck. So this opens up a neck strike. Okay. If you wanted to. Um, or you could close your fingers and hit them kind of like that. Okay. But the bong sao is way more powerful and way more than what the average Sifu ever teaches you because they don't know what bong sao really is. Okay. So, um, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. There's more that I could teach you about Kung Fu, and there's more that I can teach you about what I know. But I just wanted to make a quick little video. What time is it? Oh, it's only one. So yeah, I got a team meeting at 5 p.m. So I'm just trying to fill up some time, talk about some videos and some stuff that I know. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. And if you want to learn more stuff about Kung Fu or just watch me talk about Kung Fu more, just let me know. And but my Sifu's, you're probably never gonna find the Kung Fu that I know because um it is underground. It is an underground martial art that's not very found. And so if your Sifu teaches you that there's one style of Bong Sao, they're not a real Kung Fu master. Okay. So the Bong Saos again are Yin Bong Sao. Okay. It starts down here and goes up here. Okay. And it ends up on the Yin line, not the center line. Not it doesn't end here, it ends here. Okay. It's different. Okay. Here, here. We don't end here. We go up on center to clear the space, right? We go up on center to clear the space and to catch everything that comes in. And then when we catch it, we bring it just over to the yin line. That's bong sao. Then there's hawk bong sao, which is here, here. And then we have all of our arm on the same level. And then we also something very important about this is now, obviously, you're not going to become a master by watching a video, but it's all about this. Okay. So you want to curl this down and bring this out, and you're going to shoot your fingers up. So when you do Hawk Bong Sao, it's not this, it's actually like you're actively pushing up like this. So this is a Hawk Bong Sao right here. Okay. That's what Hawk Bong Sao is. Okay. You're actually pushing up like that. Okay. So, and then Hawk Bong Sao is when you face an elbow down punch, like a Kung Fu punch, and it crashes into your structure and you don't quite get your guard up ready, right? So let's say you get your guard up and you're a little too late. Oh, boom. Oh no, they're gonna crash into me, right? Your elbow's getting close to your body. Oh no. Well, guess what? Well, when I'm pushed up like this, see where my wrist is? It's on my shoulder. It's on my yang. It's on the yang line. So now if I just do this, if I twirl my wrist down here, and then I go ahead and make and pull the energy this way, right? Their energy is coming this way. Now I can go ahead and get a lever on the outside and pull it sideways, right? Like that. Okay. So um if you can meet it head on, like you like let's say you meet a kung fu person, they throw a punch, wham, boom, they're gonna go flying. Okay? Seriously. If they don't absorb the energy, they're gonna go flying on that one. And then if they throw an elbow down punch and they crash into you, okay, boom, right? Both of your arms clash, but then they're pushing into you a little bit and you're too late, right? You can use your wrist to get a lever on the outside, right? Don't fight here. Don't fight here. Use your wrist to get a lever on the outside, and then just pull it this way because they're pushing this way. So just go wham. See that's side hawk bonks out. Okay, it's just literally just you just put your wrist up here and your elbow, just guarding yourself. And if you ever get crashed into and it's too much energy, you can just put a lever on the outside and pull it this way. Does that make sense? Okay, so those are the three bong sounds. Um, I guarantee you your Sifu's never taught you this. Okay. So, anyways, have a great day. And these are some secrets of Kung Fu that are underground. Then this is why Kung Fu people get knocked out all the time, is because they don't really know real Kung Fu. And so, anyways, have a great day, everyone. See y'all at 5.